There were so many bikes in the Indian history that were different, weird and legendary. While some made a mark, there are a few that we might have forgotten about or might not know about at all. In today's video, we'll be talking about those 10 forgotten motorcycles that were sold in the Indian market back in the time. First in the list, and this is I find most humorous to me, is the Royal Enfield Mini Bullet. We all know Royal Enfield 350s, which are the most selling motorcycles from the company, but back in the time, Royal Enfield had made a mini version of the Bullet too. It was a 200 and it was called the Mini Bullet. Powered by a 197cc two-stroke motor, it produced 12.7 bhp of power and 14 Nm of torque. It is one of the rarest bikes and it was actually sold in India. Number 2 in our list is RAJDOOT GTS. Well, when I talk about this bike, it actually brings a smile to my face because it is a very tiny bike. A 2 feet tall bike that got its frame from the movie Bobby. It was featured back then and gained a lot of popularity, and then it was nicknamed Bobby. It was a tiny motorcycle and the GTS stood for Gran Turismo Sport. Well then, it had an oversized engine which was a 173cc two-stroke motor which produced close to 9.1 bhp of power. It was quite lively even though it was just a pocket bike. Number 3 in the list is the YEZDI 350. While Java was selling the 250s, it had acquired quite some numbers, but then a competition came in from Yamaha with the RD350. As a response, Java introduced the YEZDI 350 and called it the two-stroke king. It was the only other 343cc twin-cylinder motorcycle to be made during the 70s. It produced a massive 22 bhp and a whopping 32 Nm of torque. The YEZDI then became a prize possession as the production stopped and the RD350 went on sale for a longer period, and it was picked by a lot more people, just the fact that it looked slightly modern and was a little faster too. The dual pipes, however, on the YEZDI won a lot of hearts. One of the weirdest enduro bikes of all time to go on sale in India was the BAJAJ SX Enduro. Kawasaki at that time sold the KB100 RTZ, a road motorcycle, when Bajaj came up with an enduro idea that didn't succeed much. The small 100cc two-stroke motor didn't make up much performance, while it just looked very different from those types of motorcycles. Hence, it did not work out that well. The next in our list is the LML GRAPTOR. Lohia Machine Limited, also known as LML, had launched their flagship motorcycle to compete against the Pulsar 150, the GRAPTOR. As weird the name goes, it was quite a quick motorcycle with a 150cc 4-stroke motor producing close to 13.4 bhp of power and 12.8 Nm of torque. It, however, had a massive 17-liter fuel tank which sat on a very unique exposed frame. It was very much like a Delta box frame and the motorcycle looked quite unique. The next motorcycle on our list is a motorcycle that everybody might remember as a legendary motorcycle, the Yamaha RX-100. The lightweight maniac of a machine that went brap all over the 90s, also known as the true stroke champion. It was a motorcycle that literally brought performance into the mind of commuters. It had a 98cc two-stroke motor that produced 10.8 bhp of power and close to 10.4 Nm of torque, but it weighed just 95 kgs, making it a hell of a performer. We have got one more YEL motorcycle, which was one of the first few motorcycles that had a fairing, the LML ARDENO. This was the first LML motorcycle to get a bikini fairing and it looked quite dope. Pretty much a boxy design from the start to the end, but it had integrated indicators in the fairing as well as in the taillight back in the time. It had a 110cc motor which produced close to 9 bhp of power and 8.5 Nm of torque, but the fairing advantage always came in handy and it could do close to 100 km/h without stressing out. Adding one more crazy Yamaha to this list is the Yamaha RXZ, RX100's bigger brother that got a lot more power and even got a 5-speed gearbox. RX135 was the actual model, but the RXZ was the souped up version. It got quite a lot of sporty body panels and it looked quite dope. The 132cc two-stroke motor produced a crazy 16 brake horsepower and 12 Nm of torque that went brap close to the red line. Yamaha RXZ was one of the highest and the fastest driving motorcycle back in that time too, and most of you know that this was a legendary motorcycle, not to be forgotten. The next motorcycle in the list is quite unique too, known as the BSA Bond 50. You can't see as many BSA bicycles now, but there was a time that BSA had a ton of motorcycles and it was one of the leading companies too. BSA Bond is one of the smallest capacity motorcycle in the list today, powered by a 50cc 2-stroke motor and had enough punch to get around. It is one of the known motorcycles from back in the time because it was one of the first motorcycles to come standard with a monoshock suspension. Last but not the least, we have a Maruti esteem rival, the HERO-BMW FUNDURO F650. It was known as the Maruti esteem rival because of the price, which was almost 5 lakhs back then. It was probably India's first big bike and an adventure bike too. It saw very few Indian homes, but it was a turning point in the automotive industry because of its sales. It had a 652cc 4-stroke motor that produced 48 bhp of power and 57 Nm of torque. The power delivery was linear throughout, and it is one of the favorite motorcycles in the list today. You can actually find the F650 in the second-hand selling sites today. So this was a list of motorcycles that was sold in India that you might not know about. And if you do know, it has been so long that you might have forgotten about. I have a feeling that you guys will know a few more bikes that were sold in India and I haven't mentioned in this video. So do let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, do hit the like button. Do share this video with your friends and stay home, stay safe and always wash your hands.